Hey everybody, this is Daniel here with Propelio, and I have a very exciting show today. I intend to personally learn a bunch and take the opportunity to ask as many questions as I possibly can, because this is something I don't know much about. If you're out there and you're trying to secure quality leads and you're struggling to get the best leads that you can possibly find, then this is the show you need to be watching, because we're going to be discussing some of the key things to leverage the internet to get you leads, regardless of whether you're sleeping, working, or doing anything else in your business during that day. Welcome to getting emails and phone calls while you sleep. Hey, so we're back here. So we've got Caleb Luketic here with Steel Marketing, and I am extremely excited to have you on today's show because
I appreciate it, man.
You're a wealth of knowledge. Like, you are doing something that I've never personally done. I've admitted this more than once, but you have some pretty interesting ways of generating leads that many people do not focus on. So let's talk about some of these acronyms that get thrown around, like pay-per-click, pay-per-impression, SEO. Let's talk about these key things that you focus on.
Awesome, man. So primarily SEO is search engine optimization, right? And it's all about building trust and authority. So that way you get ranked highly onto all of the search engines, primarily kind of Google, right? They take probably 99% of everything.
So Google is like the place you want to be.
They're the place that we hone in on. Yeah, I'll be super honest. We get an email from a lead off of Yahoo, a Bing,
it's not very often,
every now and then, right?
Through Google, right?
Off of Google, because most people have what? An iPhone. An iPhone, you search anything, where do you go? Yeah.
It's Google.
To Google. So that's where that is there.
So search engine optimization is my way of getting through Google's algorithms to show up on that first page.
Right. Yep.
And I know how difficult that can be. I've never tried to do it, but I hear everybody say, hey, like, apparently you've got some secret sauce from your experiences that has taught you how to do this. Like, what is the benefit like of being on first page of Google? Like, I can only imagine like how, like, I could pay to be on the first page through AdWords. Like, we know that. We always see the ads at the top and the bottom of our searches. But then we always see the lucky few that are like those 10 that show up at the top. Right. And I know for a fact that you can do it, but what is some of the things that I should be looking at to do? Like,
sure, man. Yeah. So, man, there are so many incredible things that you can try to do, but really it starts with your actual site, right? Like, you've got to have that set up, got to have that completely optimized, and really a lot of the content, right? So we want to create a lot of the content there that's around what sellers are actually trying to look up, whether that's they've just inherited a house, they're going through, right? Insert whatever into that, and that's really number one.
And so what you're referring to, I believe, is called keywords?
Yep.
So
a lot of the keywords that people type in. So just as an example, somebody might say, hey, I'm in the middle of the foreclosure kind of the process here, so I'm going to type out and say, how do I sell my house quickly in whatever city, right? Okay. So that keyword that they type in, we want to try to rank for that. Now, we're not just kind of shooting, well, I hope that this is right. We have actual information that we can actually look at and say, hey, we know for a fact that in our area, people are actually searching out these particular actual keywords.
So how are you going to figure that out? Is there like just some secret software that we don't know about? Because I'm completely ignorant on the subject, like keywords. Like,
keyword stuff,
how do I know that people are actually searching for this? So AdWords?
So AdWords, we get information directly from them.
Okay.
So we know, okay, this information is going to be accurate. Why? Because it's coming from the main kind of source here.
So AdWords, right? So, is that Google?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Google AdWords, I can go open up Google AdWords. How much do I have to pay to get into Google AdWords?
It's free to set it up.
Okay, so AdWords is actually free?
You can just set it up. So what you do is you just set it up.
Okay.
It's going to, try to take you through all the things. You have to try to accept all that, but you just set that up. Top right corner in expert mode, you've got to set that up correctly. But it's called keyword planner. And you can type in things like cash for houses, semi-house, things like that. And it's gonna spit out hundreds, if not thousands, of different minor kind of the variations of sell my house for cash, sell my house for cash now, right? Like different little things. And so we can go off that, and even tells you roughly about how many people are searching those particular keywords based off of a lot of the data that they have. So
can you
really awesome
can you boil that down to like geography? Like
yeah.
Oh wow.
So on the keyword planner, we can't go by zip code. We can run ads based on certain zips, but we can go based on city by city. We can look at that.
All right, so I can go into my city and I can go into the Google AdWords, go into the expert mode, find the keyword planner, and then just type in some random phrases and it'll give me spit out all these suggestions.
Absolutely.
I can see how many people are searching for it. And well, now that I've got all this data in front of me, now what you're trying to tell me is that I need to get my website to start ranking for those particular key terms. How am I going to pull that off?
Yeah, so it starts with the optimization there. So with our heading tags and all of the content. Those are the two most important things. If you did nothing else.
Hold on. I'm already lost. Like I'm stupid. Like I am stupid as stupid gets. All that to be said. You said heading tags
and your content.
And content. Okay.
So the heading, think of the large essential text that you see on any site.
Kind of like the title of the blog or whatever. Okay.
Yep. So that, and then all the other words, all the other content there.
All right.
So we have to write that in such a way to include those in there. So as an example here, you might say, hey, if you're looking to sell your house fast in Houston, in wherever, call us. This is what we do. We pay cash in any condition and so on. So that's how we kind of get that, is we have to write all of the content there and flow in, and it's got to look natural, right? It can't just be keywords where like, okay, that sentence doesn't make sense if you read it. You're like, that nobody talks like that.
So will Google actually be able to tell if
read it?
If you're just for real? Like,
oh yeah, they can tell if you're kind of full of it. Honestly,
if you're just pumping keywords in?
Pumping keywords like it's like there's no tomorrow. That's a big no-no.
Okay, so
there's certain things that we do to kind of
So not only do we need that there,
Yeah.
but we need it done in a way
proper
that
fashion.
Google recognizes that this ain't spam.
Right, exactly. And it's just got to read normal. That's a good kind of an example there, is that every sentence, every section, somebody should read that, and they shouldn't be able to tell too much. Yeah, maybe one or two times they're like, that's kind of keyword-y, right? Which that's fine, but the majority of it should read and say, this makes perfect sense here.
Okay, so let me take a look at this and let me drill this in a little bit differently. Are we talking about like blog posts, or are we talking about actual pages on the site?
Both.
Are we so all of it?
So pages on to the actual site. That's really the most important thing. So you can build out pages for every city you want to try to shoot for, whether that's 1 or 1,000, or you can build pages for everything.
I got to ask a question on that. It's like, do I really want my website to have 1,000 pages of all the exact same things saying, I buy houses Houston, I buy houses Dallas, I buy houses? Seriously? Okay.
Yeah, so there's there's some variations there.
Okay.
So it's okay to use similar content on your own site. It's a big no-no to take it from somebody else's and put it on your own. Never do that ever. But it is okay if we can take one piece that we've already written and made it about a certain area and just use that same piece in that other city. Now, it's always best to change it up a little bit. And I always say this, it's a good thing to try this, but to write a little section at the very end about that particular city, about their history, right? What they're kind of known for, things like that, to just make it more that city, all kind of about it.
All right, so just to recap here, because we've got people jumping in and out, let me recap what I've heard. We've talked about search engine optimization, which is a way to rank on Google or any search engine,
right?
To come
mainly
up to
Google
to come up to the top of the list, so that way when people search for it, I'm organically showing up there. And some of the key things that we can do to get that done is we can use a free tool, Google AdWords, open up their keyword planner, search for a basic key term, and I'll get a long list of keywords that I would likely like to have on my site. And then I go to my site and I create pages and I write content around those keywords.
Absolutely.
That sounds incredibly simple. Why is this, how would I say that, so hard to get up onto that page one? What's...
Because that's part one.
Okay, so that's part one.
There's part 27 as we go in here,
Okay.
right? So like there's so many different little things, but that is the most important one that many people, as simple as it sounds,
Right.
they're lazy. And they're like, write content? Me? No. I mean, so you can hire that stuff out, absolutely, but there's certain things that they're only good if you do it yourself, right? You know what the industry, you know about investing and those things, because hey, I run into this a lot that when people hire individuals, they write it thinking that they're what? An agent. No. These are two separate things here.
Yeah, agents
so you have
and
to
investors
be very
are totally
careful
different.
about that, especially when you hire any of the VAs or things like that to try to write this. If they don't know things about that, it can go south fast.
You're saying to do this yourself, but let's just say that I'm me and I'm a horrendous writer. Like my editing, my type, whatever. I am not a writer. What should I do in that instance? Like, is there resources that I can utilize that can actually provide me with what I truly need? And how do I know that it is done the way it's supposed to be done? Like, that's one of the things I struggle with is if I go to hire somebody, it's because I don't know how to do it. And then I really don't know what I'm supposed to be getting out of them. They can send me something that looks just fine to someone like myself. But whenever an expert like you goes in to look at it, they're like, they messed this up. Right. Like, what am I supposed to be looking for?
Sure. Well, the good news is here, we're going to make some other things to pop into the Academy just for kind of a lot of the baselines for people to look at some of the free tools that you can actually use to check that stuff. So that part will be very, very helpful. But in terms of looking at what's going to be the best thing and things to kind of check for and all of that. Well, number one, right, it's got to be things written about your industry, right? Like it's got to be that. So that's the first thing that you need to find somebody that knows about your industry and that they can write in that kind of the context there. So that's number one, because if it doesn't make sense, all the SEO, all the extra things, it just won't happen. So things that you can do to check. There are free kind of tools out there. Some that check your headings. So you can check and see how any of the other engines read your actual site and say, okay, here's my H1 and so on, right? So you can see that stuff there. So that's a good way to check that. But really, the best thing are your heading tags, right? Are those one of your actual keywords, right? Again, going off of Keyword Planner. That's the biggest thing.
All right, so with all of that, I don't know if anybody out there in Facebook world or YouTube world caught on to what you mentioned earlier. You said something about the Academy. Let me rewind, let me pull back the skin a little bit and give some people an understanding of what's going on here.
Yeah, sure.
Caleb has spent the last 2 days here in the Propelio studios recording content for the Propelio Academy and exclusively for Propelio users themselves. And you have spent 2 full days.
2 full days
recording content.
Pumping it out, man.
And so for anybody that's out there right now that has not already gone out and subscribed to the Propelio Academy, the Propelio Academy is a free resource. It's 100% free to teach you key things about real estate investing, just like SEO and pay-per-click. So we've probably got 8 to 10 hours available now in the Propelio Academy just on digital marketing and stuff. So thank you off the bat for doing that. Man. That's a huge thank you for everyone. So if you do not understand SEO, pay-per-click, AdWords, and stuff like that, we now have a resource for you in the Academy to learn from that. So make sure to take advantage of that. But also, Steal Marketing. Tell me a little bit about Steal Marketing.
Yeah, man. So, primarily, we actually help investors primarily with their SEO and AdWords. So, any of the paid ads, any of the organic end of it, we kind of do all of that.
So we haven't even talked about paid ads yet. All we've really talked about is trying to rank
in organic,
Google.
The free end of it.
So I like the way free sounds.
Sounds great.
Free sounds amazing.
But it takes time.
Okay, so it takes some time. So I'm going to have to exchange. Yeah. That's what I've found throughout pretty much everything. If it's free, it's going to cost me time.
Absolutely. It's going to cost you something. It might not be money, But the time there is definitely going to be a major thing there.
All right, so those are some key things. So I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to go to a commercial. I'm going to come back, and when we come back, let's start focusing in on the paid side of stuff. Like if we want to put a budget behind, you know what, let's say I'm struggling to get on page one, or I know that getting to page one is going to take me 6 or 7 months, and I'm trying to generate leads now. Let's talk about getting to page one by paying Google for that.
Definitely.
So let's go to a quick break, and we'll talk about that here in just a second.
Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com. This is Steve. Steve is a successful real estate investor. Steve is wearing glasses, so therefore you know he's a successful real estate investor. You go, Steve. Go, Steve, go. Go get those dollars. You see that blue dot? That's Steve. Just looking at houses left and right. Look at him go. Get the Propelio mobile app and drive for dollars today. All without leaving your car.
All right, so we're back again here with Steel Marketing, Caleb Luketic, and we've been talking about SEO, which is how we're going to rank organically on page one of Google. Let's move into talking about, you know what, I just want to buy page one of Google. Now, all that to be said, I have some key things that I have to mention before we get into that. Tyla, my daughter, Tyla and Zyla, my wonderful wife, Miranda. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Thank you. Tyla, I know you're sick right now, so hope you're feeling better, but hey, Daddy's here. Love you. So I always have to get one of those out.
That's
when
awesome,
I get
man.
home, like kiddo looks at me with that side eye, like, hey, you didn't say you didn't, you know.
Look at this, Dad. What are you doing, man?
Really? Like, and that's what this is all for, right? So let's
it,
keep the kids happy. So let's talk about just buying page one of Google.
Yeah, man.
So like, we know that we can do some SEO, and there's quite a few things that we can do to rank on page one. For everybody that's out there right now, and they're like, okay, we talked about one strategy. Well, you mentioned there was 27. Well, you know what? Go to Propelio Academy. There's like 10 hours of it there. This is kind of an explanation of a teaser of getting to that. And then for the Propelio subscribers, you've created some exclusive content just for Propelio subscribers. So that makes me happy. So let's talk about, you know what? I've got a budget. I'm just going to buy page one. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So really the biggest thing to think on here is that one, it's not going to be cheap necessarily. Real estate investing specifically has a higher price per lead. It just kind of does.
What should I expect for a price?
So if you're in a competitive area, you can expect, if it's done properly, per lead to spend anywhere from $250 to $500 per lead.
Okay, so lead does not necessarily mean contract.
That's Absolutely.
Just somebody to talk to.
Somebody calling you.
Okay.
Right?
So this is not a game to play if my budget is $100 a month.
No, not even close. Okay. SEO is more that, because SEO is not going to cost you anything. You can invest time.
Okay.
You can invest that time to eventually work your way up there, and you will get ranked, no question. Okay. But definitely AdWords is not for somebody that has $100, $200. If you spend that into AdWords, gone like that. Now, if you were into the lawn care industry, into something like that, a few $100 can get you something, because there's more people, right, looking to cut a lawn than selling a house, right?
Okay.
So.
All right. So that makes sense. So, all right. All of these things taken into factor, I am aware now that if I'm going to buy page one, I better damn well have the budget for it. What would you say a healthy budget for a major metropolitan should be, like, to make it worth my while? I now know that, like, I'm not going to spend $100 a month on AdWords and really perform on that. Might as well save my money. But is $1,000 sufficient, or
a healthy amount to close a actual contract, right? To get one. About $2,000 at least.
Okay.
Out of the Dallas area here, right, we're gonna be more towards $3,500. Like, we're gonna have to go up there a little bit.
Okay.
So really, the bigger the city, the more you're gonna have to put into that. Reason is there's just more people running ads.
Okay. Well, let me ask how that works, because all right, so I'm not holding you to the fire saying that this is the right number, but let's just say it is $3,500. Is that $3,500 a month, or should I be able to say $3,500 over the course of 6 months?
A month.
Okay, so $3,500 a month is where I need to really be budgeting. So for those that are out there thinking about this, that needs to be a key thought process in the back of your mind. Like, if you're dropping $500 a month on this, don't anticipate really getting in there.
You might get one deal over the course of a quarter, maybe close to, depending on where you are. It's really a major kind of a factor. Putting that kind of money in, let's just say, a Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, you know, it's a little bit of a smaller area. Maybe get something. If you put that in a larger area like a Houston, out of the Phoenix area, you know, any of those, you're going to get nothing. You might get one click or two. But those clicks aren't going to be calls necessarily. Now, you might just get really, really lucky, right? But it's not smart to be lucky. Yeah, it spoils people when they hit it.
I had the unfortunate case of I was working with a newer investor, never done anything before, and I was like, go drop some bandit signs. Go drop 100 of them. The weekend he dropped 100 of them, made $7,000. The first weekend out, I was like, bam, I'm quitting my job. We're going to do all this. But could not do it again for another 6 months. And you know what? It was just your luck of the draw. So
absolutely.
The conscientious person should consider putting $3,500 a month
in a larger metro area. I would say $2,000 bare minimum for a generally large area.
Okay. All right, so what does this look like? Am I just going out there and saying, hey, Google, I want to buy a house, help me out? I know you talked about Google AdWords earlier in Key Planner. Is that literally all I'm doing?
Sort of. So there's a lot of things that we have to keep in mind here.
Okay.
We can just say, here, AdWords, take all of our money. But what's going to happen? They're going to say, this guy's easy. We don't have to really work him, right?
Okay.
But how we set things up is we make AdWords work for us. We say, hold up, whoa. You're trying to charge us $100 for this one click? No. We're gonna give you $70. What do you think about that?
Okay.
And we kind of work that. So that takes time, though. It does. So there is some time, but the good news is you do get leads in there more instantaneous.
Okay.
So AdWords can definitely be good, but I will say this, guys, please do not use their kind of the basic AdWords editor. When you sign up, there's going to be a link at the bottom. It's this itty bitty little kind of link that says switch to expert mode. That's what you need to switch to, because that's going to give you the full ability to try to say, hey, whoa.
We're going to bargain with you.
I'm going to bargain here. We're not just going to give you all of this money. We're going to make you work for it, right? You have to give me leads or I'm going to stop paying you, right? They're going to be intelligent saying, well, I want your money. So let me give you a couple leads here, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of the way that you really need to go about that, to think that, and really make that stuff happen.
All right. So we talk about Google a lot. Google, I would believe, is probably the largest search engine platform.
No, not even close, man. Not even close.
Do I even pay attention to other resources like Yahoo, Bing, and stuff like that?
So the Bing, definitely kind of Bing is probably number 2, no question. So things to think about here just a little bit. This is not necessarily correct based on information, just my personal opinions here, that if you think about it, when somebody goes to a job, they typically don't have Apple products. And so when they have one of the Microsoft a computer there, usually Google's not the primary search engine.
Okay.
So if somebody has a regular job and they're searching definitely on to the Bing platform, there can be some good leads. I've gotten a couple houses I've actually closed on from them. I've had others do that exact same thing. And so it's definitely a good secondary resource. So if you have a smaller budget, it's worth possibly looking there, but they don't have as much of a complete way to run ads. There's not this complete way to do it. Yes, you can, but AdWords everybody goes there.
Well, here's my question to that, because in my simple mind, I'm sitting here thinking, if everybody's going to Google, that's where the majority of people are going to be searching to sell their house, and that's where the majority of investors are also going to be competing for that lead.
Absolutely.
Would it be wise for me, if I had a smaller budget, and this is speaking from ignorance, should I go to Bing because less people are advertising on it, which I would say, in my opinion, means less people are competing for the same lead? And even though there's a smaller search volume, then I have a higher chance of getting the deal. Is that wise thinking, or am I thinking about this wrong?
It's not bad.
Okay.
But again, where are your sellers going to be at? What I just kind of outlined is kind of a crapshoot, honestly.
Okay.
You hope that somebody's at their job and they search then. But what happens if they search from the parking lot on their phone? They have an iPhone. where's it going to go? To Google.
Okay.
So there are people that do, that you can get leads there, but I really wouldn't recommend it as a starting place.
Okay.
As a supplement, as an in addition to, yes, do that, because you might catch a couple people, but and it will be a lot cheaper, but still, I really don't think it's a wise thing to even to try and start there.
Okay.
It's definitely a much more wise to begin doing your own SEO, pumping out a lot of the content, just doing free things that you yourself can invest time into before we begin to say, hey, okay, now we're ready to go put $2,000 or whatever into the actual ads there.
Okay. All right, so for everybody that's out there watching right now, I've got a couple of questions coming in from the internet. I'm going to go ahead and deal with those before we go to our next break. I see from here, Matt Smith. What's the best book you recommend on writing copy? Do you have one?
YouTube.
YouTube?
Best one of the books there, right? So literally anything you can that you need, go where?
Just go to YouTube.
To Google or there, either one. So just finding that, there's not necessarily a good book. I would say probably YouTube has good videos on people showing you.
Okay.
There's probably good articles that you can read, but honestly, just doing some homework. When anybody asks me anything, I'm like, did you look it up first? Have you? Well, no. Well, you have the most powerful tool in your pocket. Just.
Have you ever heard of a website called Let Me Google That For You?
I have not.
So it's LMGTFY. Let me Google that for you.com. Now, I run customer support quite a bit, and I tell you, it's tempting for me at times to do this because I will get questions that are quite literally like, okay, you asked me this, I'm going to go Google, and I'm going to send you a Google link. But this is totally off topic, but you go, let me Google that for you.com. You type in a search term, and what will happen is you'll type in that search term, and it'll give you a link. You paste that link to somebody, and what it does is it opens their browser, it opens Google for them, it types in their exact question into Google, and it gives them the search results. So it's basically a nice way of saying...
I'm going to start using that. So listen, anybody that I help, be ready, because you're about to get some, because I get some emails. No, I'm just picking. But still, that's a good tool to use, though.
I like it, because it kind
of use that.
It teaches people to be a little more resourceful. It's
right.
like,
And that's the biggest thing that most people don't think of is, hey, you can just try to look it up.
Okay.
And I can totally find that.
All right. So got another one coming in here from Robert Wilson. Do you recommend getting someone to build you a site from the ground up, or is using one of the template sites like Wix okay to use?
Wix is a no-no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's got to be WordPress. WordPress or bust. That's it. The reason why Carrot and the Propelio sites are so effective, what are they made off of?
WordPress.
So it's got to be that, no question.
Okay, so let me talk about that. One of the largest provider of investor sites in the nation is InvestorCarrot. Hands down. They have done a great job of creating beautiful websites.
Yeah. Great job.
But what some people may or may not realize is that entire platform is built off of WordPress. Yeah. WordPress is a free website generating tool. So you can go to wordpress.org, and there is a WordPress site available to you. Now, what InvestorCarrot has done is already configured
all the coding and all the hard stuff.
They put all the copy in there. They put all that stuff in there. So that is the benefit of an InvestorCarrot site. What some people may or may not realize at this point in time is that Propelio has also now offered WordPress sites. So if you are trying to go out there and create some of this SEO, you're trying to do some of this, you can go to Propelio.com, and for $49, not only have a...
For what you're already trying to pay for, this is just in addition to.
You get a WordPress site tailored specifically for a real estate investor with lead capture forms and the ability to go into the back end and create all the stuff you're talking about. But not only for $49 do you get that, you also get your Propelio mobile app, which assists in driving for dollars. So for $49, you get the WordPress and Propelio mobile that does skip tracing, direct mail, and allows you to go through, do your driving for dollars, and pin properties on the map. So hands down, great opportunity on that side. So
absolutely.
Robert Wilson, it does seem like we're talking about that a WordPress-based site, whether that be a Carrot or Propelio, is going to be your
or
resource.
The WordPress site. I mean, outright, either one.
Okay.
Any of those.
So one of the drawbacks to going to WordPress itself is you just get a blank white sheet. You have to start from the beginning.
You have to learn a lot of the coding. Now, there are a couple other kind of the builders out there that you can pay for that give you some of the drag and drop, kind of the templates, things like that. But still, there's a lot of kind of the coding on kind of the back end that you still have to know, okay, well, that's not lining up right. well, how do I do that? Well, then you have to figure that part out. So
if I'm not a master website editor,
so if you're not, then you either need to hire somebody who is, or just go the easy route, man, and not only get an actual site, but dear Lord, I mean, you get so many other things that if you're like, all right, in my mind, I can't write, I can't look at a computer, pull out your app. Well, I'm gonna go find houses now, right? Like you can do all of that for
$49
seriously.
a month. So like
Seriously.
that's. I don't see how there's any more value that could be dropped on that side.
No, there's not, unless you did it for you. I mean, maybe, but other than that, so.
2 more questions. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to round out the end of it with some higher level questions that I'd like to get answered here. So, all right. So, is there any way to find the areas where the cost per lead is lower? Like how can I research that?
AdWords Keyword Planner. That's the best way. So you can actually take that and really look at it and pick some cities, right? And just say, so I'll say this, there is no way that you can find, oh, hey, this is the cheapest, this is the most expensive. You kind of have to do it on your own a little bit. Okay. So just think of some cities, right? A good way to think about this is general population size, right? The smaller population, the cheaper it should be. Keyword should be, right? So the larger areas are just going to be more expensive. So that's really going to be the best way to just kind of trial and error there.
So basically just using keyword planners, and then if I'm specifically looking for a lower cost per lead, start targeting lower populations.
Absolutely.
Less people are in there competing for it.
Less people. Exactly right, man.
All right, so 2 more questions. You're going to go to break, and we're going to come back and hit some higher level topics. So, is there any way to find the areas where the cost per lead is lower? Oh, so we just did that one. Just did that one. What about GoDaddy?
GoDaddy.
That's what I have now.
Yep. So that's where you can buy your domain there. They're not bad, but the GoDaddy builder itself for the website, big no-no. Why? Is it WordPress? It's not. It's their own kind of the custom things. I've worked on those sites. I have tried to work on all of those. We just cannot optimize them, man. There is just nothing there for us to do every little thing that we need to have happen. So if you're serious about doing all of this, I'll say this, if you're serious, it's got to be a WordPress site, hands down. If you just need something simple that you're only going to put on one of the postcards or whatever, do anything else. That's just going to be easy, sure. But if you're serious, you need to get a site. If you build a house, what's the first thing?
Foundation.
A foundation. You didn't have to think, right? Foundation. Okay, SEO, what's the first thing? A website.
Awesome.
If you don't build a house on that, what'll happen? Well, first off, you probably couldn't even build the house, right? So that's a great
start with the foundation.
An analogy there, just for you guys to just see that, how important having that set up is.
And WordPress is the best foundation.
No,
hands down.
Not even close.
All right.
Not even
so if you're thinking about Wix, if you're thinking about GoDaddy, you're thinking about any of these other building suites, do not do it. 100% WordPress-based foundation. If you're looking for a turnkey option on that side, you've definitely got Investocarrot, and you've also got Propelio.com. One of the biggest things that I say Propelio.com takes a win on is the simple fact that we provide so much value.
It's not even close, man. It's not even. It's ridiculous. So it's insane.
I'm excited about that. So we're gonna take a break. Matt, I see that you got a question in right here at the end, but we'll grab that here at the end of the segment. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm gonna hit some higher level questions with you.
Man.
All right, cool.
Sweet.
Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com. This is Steve. Steve is a successful real estate investor. Steve is wearing glasses, so therefore you know he's a successful real estate investor. You go, Steve. Go, Steve, go. Go get those dollars. You see that blue dot? That's Steve. Just looking at houses left and right. Look at him go. Get the Propelio mobile app and drive for dollars today. All without leaving your car.
All right, so we're back, and I had a couple of higher level questions that I thought about in the last segment that are kind of floating through my head and they've disappeared. So as we come into this last segment, if I get them to reappear, I'm going to go ahead and ask those. But I want to go ahead and make a pretty big announcement because I think this is a huge opportunity for for the Propelio community. For those that are not aware right now, Propelio and Steel Marketing have made a partnership together, and Steel Marketing is going to be coming in and doing a lot of things for the Propelio community. One of the key things is if you are a Propelio subscriber and you have access to Propelio websites, I get flooded with service calls all the time through Propelio software. It's like, all right, I've got this site, but I don't know what to do with it now. Can you tell me a little bit about the coaching calls that we're setting up now?
Awesome. So this is going to be the best thing for everyone here. This is going to be your hour to hour and a half every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to ask those things. Hey, and we will have specific things that we're going to be talking about related to SEO, AdWords, setting up things, right? A ton of basically online. It's going to be online everything.
Okay.
Right? So anything you can think of in that, we're going to have it.
Awesome.
So it's going to be an awesome thing that, and every single one of the calls, I'm going to make a chunk here to just say, hey, any questions about anything?
Okay.
Whether we've talked here now or just in general, 10, 15 minutes or so to just talk, to be that open kind of a forum to say, hey, I just need help. I don't know how to do this. What do I, how does this work?
Awesome.
So that way people have that to say, okay, hey, it's a Friday night. Oh man, you know what? How do I do that? Let me write that down so I can ask that, right?
That's perfect.
To have that know, hey, every single Tuesday, I get to ask these things.
So let me recap on that, because if you didn't quite catch what's going on here, Propelio subscribers that have their Propelio website going, and you're out there struggling to figure out what's going on, you are now going to have direct access to a true industry expert, not just somebody that knows SEO, not just somebody that knows how to do pay-per-click, somebody that has extensive experience on the real estate investor side of SEO and pay-per-click. You're going to have access to this professional every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. to go through and take a hour-long training course, as well as a 15-minute open Q&A to sit there and say, hey, you know what? Last week you told me how to do this. I tried doing it, but in the attempt to trying to do it, I hit a couple snags. Can you help me out with that? I consider that priceless. Like,
yeah, no question.
So
and it's no additional charge, right? We're not adding, this is included in that. So it's already fantastic. You get the app, all of that stuff, but now this, I mean, it doesn't get
no-brainer.
It doesn't. Yeah, no brainer.
So moving forward from there, we've got these weekly coaching calls coming together, and let's just say there's somebody out there that's in a position. They're like, you know what? I love everything that's going on here. I truly understand the power behind it, but I'm just capitalized somewhere else. Like my time is not available to go through and do all of this myself. Is there anything that you as Steel Marketing are going to be able to do for that type of person that's like,
absolutely.
I love how that works, but I'm not prepared to do it?
Right, absolutely. We can outsource all of it. We can take on everything.
Okay.
SEO, all of the ads, Facebook ads coming soon.
Okay.
So we'll be adding that stuff on. So literally anything like that. Editing and customizing a website, guess what? Can handle all of that.
Okay.
So anything related to SEO, AdWords, and pretty soon here, a lot of the Facebook ads, we're going to be able to do all of that stuff.
All right. So for many of people that are wanting to go out there and do it yourselves, we're going to have the full training from beginning to end, how to do it. So we're not holding anything back. If you want to learn how to do it, go for it.
Pretty much.
Not only that, you're going to be able to come in and take some direct coaching weekly from someone that's a professional like yourself. And then for the next tier of person that's just like, you know what, I have no desire to do that myself. I truly believe that there's power to it, but I just want somebody else to handle it. Already done for you. So we've got Steel Marketing in play for all of these different things. And as I'm going through this conversation, those gray matters are starting to come back to those questions I had earlier. I've got this question for you. I get lead lists all the time. Is there any way that you know of, and through Google AdWords itself, I'm not talking about social media platforms, where I can upload a list and say, target those specific people?
Sure.
Okay.
So there's not a way on AdWords to target them specifically. Now we can create an audience and try to mirror that as best as we can.
Okay.
But it used to be really easy. A lot of the Facebook ads you could upload, you could target people like crazy.
Wow.
And then all the government overreach things happen, which is a whole other thing. But, so that happened. And now they pulled back all those things. And now you just kind of, Facebook ads are more general now.
Okay.
All right. So, unfortunately, at this moment, no, there is no way on any marketing channel to say, hey, we're going to specifically target these particular individuals.
Okay.
More of a group setting.
All right, so that's something that I've always wondered on myself, because I've heard that you can do it through Facebook, but like you're saying, like some of this
They've pulled a lot of that
back. A lot of that stuff's been pulled back. Okay, so what are some other things that somebody that's general in the audience right now watching should be asking themselves?
Yeah. So really, right now is saying, am I getting consistent leads? That's number one. Am I getting consistent leads from whatever it is that you're actually trying to actually do now? And then a second one is, how much time am I investing to get those leads?
Okay.
Right? Am I cold calling 3 hours every single afternoon? Okay, well, that's 3 hours of your time. Your time is valuable here.
Okay.
Right? So really, those are the biggest two things to think about. All right, am I getting leads consistently without really doing much or very little kind of energy? And secondly, how much time am I investing into these things? Hanging up any of the bandit signs, making any of the phone calls, right? What does that look like to you? And another thing to think about, consistency is one thing, but what happens when your list is out?
All right.
What happens?
So what I would be thinking about on this standpoint is, let's say I'm a newer investor. I don't have the $3,500 a month in budget to pull something down like this. But maybe what I could do is I can cold call 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. And let's just say on average, I'm looking to make $20 an hour. And if I'm spending three hours a day, that's $60 a day of my time that I'm putting towards this, times 5 days, $300 a week that I should be paying myself. Well, maybe after I've gone through and I've secured 2 or 3 cold call deals and I've put $10,000 to $15,000 in my bank, maybe I keep cold calling.
Absolutely.
But now I also toss on a budget of $3,000 a month to go to AdWords. And now instead of just focusing on my cold calling, which will only produce what I can personally produce, well, now I've got an additional lead source on top of it.
You're getting somewhere now.
Now I'm doing 5 deals a month instead of 3 deals a month, and I'm able to start picking up volume. And then now that I'm doing 5 deals a month, maybe I can put $5,000 a month into my marketing budget for SEO and just start dual pathing it.
Absolutely. So and that, man, you hit that perfectly, because it's really, how much time are you investing? If you're going to pull away from doing signs or any of the calls or whatever to figuring this stuff out and learning it, not saying it's not an advantageous thing to go after, but thinking about that, okay, am I going to get a lead from this immediately? Chances are probably not. Doing SEO right off that, probably not, right? So if you find, hey, well, I have an extra hour or 2 every now and then, that's great. Use that then if you want that.
How long should I anticipate an SEO platform or an SEO campaign to really start performing results? Because SEO, like, I could do that today, but I might not see anything tomorrow for like.
Absolutely. So it really varies on where you are. So again, it all brings us back to general kind of the population sizes here. So the bigger the population size, which means generally the more competition. So then therefore, the longer it's going to take you to get up there. So in a larger area out of Houston, out of the
major metros.
A major metro area, you're talking anywhere from 8 to 12 months.
Okay.
If you're consistent at it. And that's from beginning at basically with nothing and kicking off. Now, in a little bit of a smaller area, 4 to 8 months, and that general thing there.
I want to rewind back to this, because you said something that people out there might not really take to heart, and that was, if I'm in a major metropolitan area, how much effort going into this SEO? You said 8 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Is that like doing 1 article a week? Is that working every single day? Is that like doing 1 activity a month? Like, am I going full force at this for 20 hours a week for a year? Or?
So it's really, so in a major area, for you to be successful at that, I would say that once, after you've learned how to do that, once you figure out what works for you, your kind of the checklist here, right? About 5 to 8 hours every single week should go into that. That means creating any one of kind of the backlinks, any of the blogging articles, things to just build your site up there. 5 to 8 hours about that is what that's going to take pretty consistently. Now, if you take a couple of weeks off, is it going to kill you? No, it's not. But it's important to keep that up because it will take that time.
Well, then my question to you is, if we're saying let's commit pretty much a day a week for a year to start performing in a major metro area, could I just fast track that and spend 8 hours a day for a month straight, like every single day, 7 days a week for a month straight? Would that be any more advantageous to me, or is there a specific reason why the time frame is there? Is Google waiting to see credibility build up? How's this work?
Yeah. So SEO is not a natural thing that happens.
Okay.
They want the rankings to be as natural as possible. So think of it just here, right? When you guys first kicked all of this stuff off, you maybe had 20, 30, however many individuals. You didn't have 10,000, right?
Right.
It gradually happens. So if all of a sudden you just begin, you have 10,000 with no prior anything, doesn't it look kind of weird?
Like what's going on here?
What's going on here?
Okay.
So that's really why it's a slower kind of a thing having there. But you're probably sitting there, guys, and you're like, well, what the heck? That sounds kind of dumb. Why would I even invest that? Well, think about this. With AdWords, right? You're paying per click, per lead, forever, for life.
Okay.
Once you're ranking well, though, what? Are you paying per lead on the SEO? Well, no.
I can get 100 leads a month.
You can get a million leads a month. And you pay $0.
All right. So
just your whatever it costs you, whether you hire somebody, any of your actual time there to keep those up there, that's what it's actually costing you, and that's really it. So long term is more of an SEO thing.
Well, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Sure.
In the meantime, for everybody that's out there watching right now, you have a digital marketing expert standing here on the Propelio Studios with you today. You have an opportunity to ask questions. So I've got a small backlog of questions ready to go right now. I'm going to ask those questions after this specific one. But if you want to get your questions in, this is the time to do it. We're live right now. Get your questions in. I've got one more question for you. Why in the hell would I ever do paid ads whenever I know that I can do SEO and just get pretty much unlimited free leads?
Sure.
What is your weight on the two? It's like if I put them both on a scale, which one should I really be focused on?
Yeah. So there's a reason to have each.
Okay.
Right. So AdWords is a great way. So if you had to pick and you said, hey, I've got $11,000 here. I'm going to only do online things and online things only. Right?
Okay.
If you just invested that into SEO, you may get a return, but it's going to be a lot slower. But if you combine them and say, okay, let's get ads happening, get contracts flowing in to help fund the SEO, to get to the point where we're getting those leads coming in constantly. So really, I view AdWords as more of a get started thing than a forever thing. Now, people do run ads forever, and hey, if you want to invest $5,000, $8,000 every month after month, sure, why not, right? But if you have an avenue to cut back on that spend and still keep your lead flow the same,
might as well, right?
Well, might as well, right? So that's kind of the way to kind of combine those. So for people that are just wanting a lot of deals fast, AdWords, you have to have that.
Okay.
But for people that are saying, no, I want to do this for years. This is my life. I want to do this for years and years and years. It's wise to then invest in SEO if that's what you're considering.
Okay.
So that's kind of the fine line there, and really kind of the best way to mesh those there.
All right. Well, I've got a couple of questions I'm going to catch from the audience real quick, and then we're going to move into some final statements here. So, Matt Smith, is there a bad thing if you have a person on Fiverr set up your site using WordPress?
You get what you pay for. So yes and no. There are really good individuals out there. It just depends. A big thing to think about, if they're building your website out here, how much do you know to fix and change what they messed up on? Really, that's the biggest thing. So yeah, you can change out a lot of the content, things like that, but it's a really important thing. There's a lot of really good things out there that we're going to talk about actually in the trainings here about how to check even the website to make sure that it's built and run and it runs in the proper way it should.
Okay.
So there's some ways to check that. So if you want to experiment, sure, take some cheaper individuals and give it a shot. It's probably a 50-50, maybe a little bit lower if you get it right. So if you're willing to take an extra couple months to figure it out, great. If you're like, no, I want it done right the first time, then you need to find somebody that's going to be able to do it right on that first actual try there.
And one of the things you'll find on Fiverr is like, are they real estate investing experts? Is the content that's written going to be written specifically for your genre? Can you trust that they know what that needs to be? And then you take it another step further.
And the conversions. Well, what if the website's not laid out? I can't tell you the number of times I see this when people are like, yeah, my site, it looks good, but no one's I don't get anything. The first thing I say is, well, open up your site. Okay, I have it open. How do you call you? Well, what do you mean? How do you call you from this? If you do nothing, how do you call you? Well, there's no phone number. Well, that's why you don't have any leads. So if that VA is not going to build it out right, well, guess what? You can have the prettiest site ever.
But it makes
how's the seller going to call you?
All right.
There's no phone number, right? So it's just those little things that they could be good, but they might not be.
All right. So we're moving into a question from Reginald. Can Steele Marketing leverage the Propelio lead gen websites to do the SEO and lead gen? Thank you for that question.
Absolutely, man. So we're going to put a lot of more things onto that side. We're definitely adding a lot of great things there. Okay. So right now, yes. In the future, yes, at times 1,000, it's going to get even better.
I'm excited about that.
Right now, yes, we can definitely have that, but just some exciting things we're kind of getting up or new layouts, some of the templates, right? Some of those things. A lot of kind of the back end things that I'm excited for that you're probably like, what? Right? Like, why does that matter, right? But for me, I'm like, yay, we get this. So at the moment, absolutely 100% yes. And as we continue this on, yes, times 1,000,000.
Well, I'm excited about that. So to throw on top of that, Propelio is built off of WordPress. So WordPress is 100% the go-to platform for building a website.
Not even close. Yeah.
So all of that to be said, Propelio can most definitely handle your website needs. Not only can we do it at a price point that everyone should be able to afford. And not only would you get your website at the $49 plan, you'd also get the Propelio mobile app, which does your driving for dollars, your skip tracing, your direct mail, pinning properties on a map. And here soon, it'll also be able to run your comps for you as well. So we're adding more and more to it every day.
Love
so
it.
Another question here from Jermaine. So what would you consider a good cost per lead from pay-per-click in a hot market?
Yeah, so a good cost per lead from AdWords specifically. Let's just talk AdWords, right? In a hot market, let's just talk about kind of the Dallas area, Houston, out of the Phoenix area. Really, I personally think that those three are probably the top three in the U.S. of most competitive.
Okay.
Just from what I've seen online, right? So a good cost per lead there, you're probably going to be looking around $400, $400 to $450. It's probably about where you're going to sit at. Now that's, again, per lead, not per acquisition. CPA, totally other thing. So you might be upwards of $2,000, $3,000 depending on how good of a closer you are. So that's something else to work on. Hey, how can I get my cost per acquisition lower? Well, learn how to close better, which again,
get that cold calling down.
Where can they go? Guess what? The Academy, right? There's a ton of things there to help on that. So that's another way to bump that down as low as humanly essential possible.
So that's great advice. Chad, what should a campaign run in a non-major market?
I assume you're talking about money here, kind of that, how much, what should a campaign run? So, in a non-major market, now there's two different definitions we can give that. One we can call a non-major market like a Huntsville, Alabama, a Chattanooga, Tennessee, right? That kind of it's a metro area,
it's a secondary
but it's very little, or in the outskirts of the middle of nowhere. I assume you mean kind of the first one here. So, average cost per lead there, we've gotten things as cheap as $60 to $70 per lead, upwards of about $2 to $250. So I realize that's a wide range, but it really is city to city. There are some that there's nobody searching anything really, and so leads are cheap, right? Or excuse me, that they're more expensive where there's a little bit less people there. So it depends on cities, but again, look at all of the keywords. A lot of the free tools there, you can look and see, okay, what's this cost per click? And even AdWords can give you a predictive analysis of what your cost per lead is, how many leads you're actually, they can do a lot.
Okay.
So that's where I would check that out at.
All right, exciting on that side. So Joey, does SEO and search words have have to be modified when you are in rural areas.
Absolutely. So it's the same thing whether you're in a major area or out in the middle of nowhere. People are still going to type in what? How do I sell my house? Those same type of problems produce those same type of people looking things up.
Okay.
Right? So it's going to be the exact same no matter where you are. Now, if you are out a little bit, guess what? It just means that there's less competition. So if you optimize the website properly and do nothing else, chances are you're probably going to be in the top 3 spots, top 5, within a week or two, like legitimately fast.
Okay, that's perfect.
Which is good there, yeah.
All right, so we've got Tico. Just set up my website with Propelio. Are there any tutorials using my Propelio website and what he is teaching today?
Well, look at that. They're coming, absolutely. So we've been here for 2 afternoons, 2 days, I should say, to pump this out. So yes, there will be some, plus all of our weekly coachings. That's going to be fantastic as well.
Tico, keep an eye out. Our first coaching call will be
next Tuesday, January 21st, 11 a.m. For everyone that is a member, you're going to get an email with all of that information of how to try to log on, all of that. So keep an eye out there because that is coming soon.
So I'll announce it in an email. I'll also announce it within the software. So if you're logged in and you get a little notification from our software service, just keep an eye out for that because it will be a link to the next coaching call.
Perfect.
So Mark, are AdWords leads predominantly retail leads, or is there a way to limit those in your campaign?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We can, absolutely to the second half there.
All right.
So yes, we can limit things. We can go as little and narrow as we could ever want to. SEO is going to be more general. There is no way to necessarily narrow out people that are more geared towards the MLS because they very well might type in something similar like, sell my house versus sell my house quickly or something like that. So, SEO, you will get some leads, but again, if you are an agent and know somebody who is, you can still capitalize on those leads. Now, AdWords is great because we can really hone things in, man. I mean, I'm talking zip codes to certain keywords. Now, obviously, there's never going to be a way to ever knock out anybody more geared towards the MLS, unfortunately.
But I can still leverage that.
But we can still, exactly. So we go as fine-tuned as possible to make sure that we're only going after keywords that people would type in that they are experiencing something that's causing them to need to sell quickly and more geared towards the investor end of things.
Perfect. So 2 more questions, or 1 more question here, and then we're going to wrap this one up. Matt Smith. You have a sample site we can look at to see what a good site looks like.
Sample site, sort of, yeah. So I actually created a Propelio site myself for the training, actually.
Perfect.
To go over that stuff. So in the training, there will be that, but I might even just finish the whole thing out, actually, because I didn't finish it completely. It's not a bad idea, though, to give it as one.
Well, do we have a link that we could send to them, or should we do that right after the show?
We'll do it after the show, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll get you a link, so keep an eye out for your comments. I'll respond to you with a link, and we'll have that going here soon.
Awesome, man. Perfect.
I look forward to working with you,
man.
I look forward to bringing some value.
I'm excited, man. It's going to be fantastic.
So for those that didn't catch all of this, Propelio.com and Steel Marketing have now entered into a partnership that I'm extremely excited about. We will now be doing weekly coaching calls every Tuesday at 11 a.m. So you will have the opportunity to go in, learn from an industry expert, learn and ask any questions that you have. Yeah. You've got the Propelio WordPress websites available to you. And not only all of that, this man right here spent the last 2 days recording full-on training for the Papilio Academy. The Papilio Academy is a free resource to increase your education. So for those that would like to go out there and learn more about this, we've got 8, 9, 10 hours of content getting released into the Propelio Academy within the next week. So all of those, keep an eye out. How much is the Propelio Academy? Free. So if you've never experienced it, go out there, check it out, propelio.com/academy, 100% actionable education available to you. Yeah. Also, we've got propelio.com, software service for real estate investors that provides you with a Propelio mobile app to do your driving for dollars, skip tracing, direct mail. You've also got our web application that will give you access to turnkey real estate investor websites built off of WordPress, as well as nationwide lead lists. You can download up to 5,000 leads a day. 5,000 national leads a day, and you also get MLS comps nationwide and a lead management system all baked into this together. So for those of you that have not experienced Propelio.com yet, 14-day free trial, no credit card required. So how much risk are you at? 0.
None.
Go check it out. what we got on Steel Marketing? What can Steel Marketing do?
Yeah, everything. SEO, AdWords related, and coming soon, some of the Facebook ads. Coming soon.
So that's exciting. So for everybody out there, I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch the show, and we're out of here.
Awesome, guys.